Hi guys, what is up? It's Sophie. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking all about sorority recruitment, giving you all of my best honest advice. I get a lot of DMs asking about how sorority recruitment at U of A works, so today I'm just going to be talking about everything. And hopefully if you are a PNM, which stands for potential new member, this will help answer some of your questions and ease your nerves for rush. I'm currently a sophomore at the U of A and I went through sorority rush last year. When I was a freshman, I went through formal recruitment, which takes place typically the week before school officially starts. Now, because of everything with coronavirus this year, it is going to be different and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. For all of the information about that, the best way to keep updated is through the University of Arizona Panhellenic. You can follow them on Instagram. I am a part of Chi Omega. You can kind of see my flag right there. And I personally love it, like definitely made the right choice for me, but this video is just gonna be totally unbiased. Like, you have to go through the process and find which one is perfect for you, you know? So yeah, with the new online recruitment schedule, I'm looking at it right now on my phone. Before recruitment officially starts, there will be a Panhellenic orientation and there will also be a meeting where all the PNMs, PNM, as I said before, stands for potential new member. This is basically just the term used to refer to any girls who are going through recruitment. All the PNMs will be meeting with their RCs, which stands for recruitment counselor. Other schools call these different things, but at U of A, we call them recruitment counselors, and these are girls who are members of their sorority and they disaffiliate. They keep it hidden so you have no idea what sorority your RC is in until the end. Your RC is just there to guide you through the process. She's there for moral support, to answer any questions, and to just make it as easy and less stressful as possible. But yeah, there's a meeting, there's the orientation, then that meeting, and then Thursday and Friday, August 27th and 28th, are going to be open house, which is set one. This isn't going to be like virtual talking to people like it's going to be for the rest on Zoom. I'm pretty sure it'll be on Zoom. Basically, every sorority will be pre-recording videos that will be open for you to view on those days. Then set 2 is going to be held on the next 2 days on August 29th and 30th. So these will be invitational rounds. So that means you'll be invited back to certain sororities. And then the next week, the following Friday and Saturday, September 4th and 5th, will be set 3. Again, this will be invitational rounds, and as it goes on, you'll be invited back to less and less, and you'll be choosing like which ones you want, like less and less, like narrowing it down, if that makes sense. And then set 4 is going to be on Sunday, September 6th. So right after set 3 will be pref, and it's like the most special day of recruitment. It gets very emotional sometimes. On pref, you'll only be going to 2 houses, or on this virtual houses, and it's just really special. Every chapter does it differently, and then after pref you decide which of the 2 or however many houses you have, you decide which one you think you want to go. And then finally bid day will be on Monday the 7th, and you'll find out if you got a bid or which house you got a bid to, you know? I think I need to preface this by saying, like, again, I'm just a member. I can only speak to my own personal experience, and everyone's experience is different. This whole schedule that I just talked about might change. Like I said, go to Panhellenic for all of your info, but I did want to mention it in this video because I feel like PNMs who are rushing in this fall will watch this, and I don't want to just leave you guys hanging with advice that won't be helpful for how it's going to be this year. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit more about how it works, and I'm going to talk about how it works regularly, like how typical formal recruitment works, because obviously that's what I went through, so that's what I really know about. But a lot of this I think will be applied to online recruitment, just certain things are different. As I explained with online recruitment, it's done through sets. So typically the first 2 days are set 1. On these 2 days, it'll be like spread out. You'll visit like maybe 6 houses one day, 6 another, 5 one day, however many. I think there are 12 sororities total doing formal recruitment. But yeah, set 1, you go to every single house and you sort of feel it out, feel the vibe. You talk to the most girls this round. Usually you'll talk to anywhere from 3 to 5 girls, and it's just very basic, like small talk. Where are you from? What's your major? What dorm are you living in? I will say one thing you get very good at going through recruitment is small talk. And then after this round, you narrow down which houses you like. So basically there's an app that you'll download. It'll have your schedule and everything. And I should also mention, I'm pretty sure the first 2 days is when you go around with your RC group. So this is when you really get to like know people in your RC group because you will all have the same schedules, going to the same houses at the same time. After this, I'm pretty sure you narrow down to your top 9. Then the next morning at the start of set 2, you will get your schedule for the next 2 days. Set 2 also takes place over 2 days when you're with your RC group, and this is where I guess things get a little more complicated because it's a process of mutual selection. That's the term they use for it. So basically you decide which houses you want to go back to, but the sororities also decide who they want to invite back. A lot of times set 1, they decide off of GPA, just little things like that. This is usually like the biggest round that people get dropped from houses with. The least you can get dropped from is 3, and the most you can get dropped from like as many as there are. I got dropped from 4 this round, so I was dropped by an extra house. And honestly, in my opinion, like, this is the worst part of Rush. Like, it can make you feel really shitty, and that's me being completely honest. Like, it is like being rejected if it's houses that you put down that you wanted that drop you. Like, that kind of sucks. It really does. And I feel like people don't really talk about that when they're doing Rush videos. Like, it's not all perfect and happy all the time, and maybe it will be for you. I know people who had absolutely like perfect Rush processes for them where they never got dropped from any houses, but then I have people like me, and I know other people who had the same situation where they were dropped from houses that they thought they liked. And at the end of the day, I think the saying is true, like, you have to trust the process and you will end up where you're meant to be 100%. That's how it worked out with me. But it's true, like, it's not fun to, I don't know, to see that you're getting dropped from house. Like, that makes you feel kind of bad. So I kind of had to say that. Like, it's an emotional week. Like, I probably cried so many times that week. I mean, happy tears sometimes, sad tears other times. Like, it was very overwhelming, especially for that to be the start of your school year, to go through that. Okay, so then set two is philanthropy. So basically during this round you will be getting to hear about each chapter's philanthropy. You have a little bit more time to talk to the girls this round. It's really special just to get to hear about what their philanthropy is. For Kaio, our philanthropy is Make-A-Wish. I had already known of Make-A-Wish beforehand. I sort of knew what they did, and I had always thought that was so special and so amazing. So when I found out that Kaio's philanthropy was that really like touched me. I mean, every sorority has a really, really amazing philanthropy, and this round is really special in that way because you really get to learn what they do for the community, how they give back, and like every sorority raises so much money for these foundations. It's really, really amazing. This is the set where you start getting just a little bit deeper and just sort of learn more about the chapters. So after set 2, you again do your round of cuts where you rank your favorites, a few houses that you didn't maybe click as well with as houses that you would drop. I'm pretty sure this round I went from 8 to 6. I'm pretty sure 6 was the most you could get back for set 3. And this round again, there was a house that I really liked, and I thought it was one of my favorites, and I got dropped from them. Set 3 is house tour / sisterhood. This is the day that you get to tour the house, see inside, see all of it, and just sort of learn more about the sisterhood of the sororities. This was my favorite round personally because one, seeing the insides of all the houses was so cool because they're all so pretty, and this was also the set that I met the girl who is now my big, and it was just like instant. Like, leaving there I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing now. Like, I'm good. Like, I found my place. You get a lot deeper in your combos that round. Like, I literally cried. I'm not even kidding. Like, it sounds so cheesy saying that. I think also I was just very emotional. I mean, going across the country by yourself and going right into that process, like, it's a lot. So I'm sure that was part of it, but also I was just really connecting with the girl who became my big and just having such a deep convo, and I was like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do now. After that round, you will make your preference selections, and the line waiting to decide literally was excruciating. It was like 2-hour long wait in the heat. It was not fun, and we were all like super dressed up and like looking cute, heels, makeup. Like, it was a lot, but all worth it in the end. Basically, when you make your preference decisions, you agree to something that basically, I forget the name of it, you agree to it or you disagree, and then you don't accept any bids. It basically says that if you receive a bid from either of your preference sororities, or you can choose to just choose one of your 2, or if you just have one left, like basically if you receive a bid from the sorority, you will accept it. And even if you decide to drop after that, before you're initiated, if you decide to drop in that period, you cannot rush for a whole calendar year. So that means if you accept a bid from a sorority and then sort of realize before you get initiated, like, I don't really know if this is for me, like, I think I joined the wrong house, then you can drop and you can re-rush again that next fall formal recruitment season. You couldn't do spring rush or COB, which I will also be talking about in a little bit. And to expand on something I just said, a lot of times on preference you will have 2 houses, sometimes you may only have 1, but if you get stuck on preference and you really only want one of the houses back, you don't really think the other sorority is the right fit for you, you don't really want to accept a bid from them, you do have the option of only putting the one down that you want, and then if you don't receive a bid from that sorority, then you won't receive a bid from anyone. But that's just something to keep in mind, because it does happen where you get stuck with a house for a while that you really just don't vibe with, you know, like deep down this is not the house for me, like, so you do have that option of only putting one house down for pref, but they don't really talk about that. And then the next day you will be waking up, you're gonna be so freaking excited because it's time, it's bid day. The end of the week has finally come and this is what you've been waiting for. Everyone goes into the basketball stadium, sits down with their RC groups. Your RC will hand out little envelopes with your name on it. Inside is your bid, and they do like a whole countdown thing, and then everyone rips them open, and it's so exciting. And then you basically go off to bid day, and that's basically like a big celebration. You'll get a bid day buddy in your sorority. So mine was the girl who ended up being my big, and it's just a fun day. It's your first day. Like, it's definitely overwhelming because there's just so many girls who you don't know, and it's like, it's a lot, but it is really fun. And just like, you'll take pictures with everyone and you'll look back months later and be like, oh my god, like, look at us, like, before we were even friends, like, before we even knew each other on bid day. So that is this is gonna be a very long video, I can already tell, but that is the basic overview of how formal recruitment works. I'm just gonna briefly talk about COB and spring recruitment because I think those probably will be bigger this year. Typically only a few sororities end up doing COB in spring, just because every sorority has to reach a certain quota for nationals, and they have huge houses, you know, they need members to make sure everything is paid for and they can keep it running. Typically sororities that don't meet quota in the fall during formal recruitment will do COB, which is continuous open bidding, which basically means that after formal recruitment is done, they will still have some bids left to give out, and it'll be a less formal recruitment process. My sorority didn't do it last year or spring, so I can't speak exactly from experience. I have had friends who have done both COB and spring, and it worked out really well for them. They're just a less formal recruitment, and it's basically a good option if you decide halfway through rush, like, this isn't for me, or you got dropped during rush, like, you still do have those options. And maybe you decide, like, once you get to school, you didn't think you wanted to rush before, but now you're interested in it, you have COB and spring rush as options. So now I want to get into my advice, because I talked about everything I know about how the process works, but I just want to give you guys some honest advice, because at this time last year when I was a PNM, I was watching all of these videos on YouTube. I was so stressed out, I was totally nervous and like overthinking everything, but I just want to be able to try to ease your nerves a little bit, let you know, like, it's totally normal if you are nervous, but you don't have to be. My first piece of advice is to try to go into the process as blind as possible. You really have to go with your gut and go with your heart throughout the process. I don't think it's good to just listen to other people and listen to their opinions, because at the end of the day, this is your choice, this is your life. Like, you need to pick the sorority that you're going to be happiest in and that you feel like you can fit in, you know, with the girls, and you feel comfortable around them. One of the reasons that I just knew Kaya was the right sorority for me was because I personally felt comfortable there. I felt like I could talk about anything with the girls, and I just, like, it's so cheesy to say, but it really did just feel like a breath of fresh air when I was in there. I felt like I could be myself and I wasn't being judged for that. So that's really what I was looking for going into sorority recruitment. I think it's really smart to, like, write down a few things that you're looking for in the house, like what's most important to you in a sorority, and just really try to, like, stick to and remember that through rush and look for for that. Because what I was looking for, yeah, was a place where I could be myself, I fit in, and there was like a sense of a strong sisterhood, and like I didn't want any like bad vibes or any like high school mean girl stuff, you know. I was just over that. But everyone has opinions. If you know older girls from your high school who like are in sororities here, they'll probably, you know, want to encourage you to go to their sorority, and like if that ends up being the right one for you, like that's so good, that worked out so well. But don't feel pressured to go a certain sorority because of other people. Also, if you're a legacy, if you don't know what being a legacy is, that basically means your like mom, grandmother, aunt, older sister was a member of that sorority. I personally was the first person in my like close family to be in Greek life, so I didn't have any of that sort of pressure. But I know that people whose mom or like close family was in a certain sorority, like there definitely is that pressure to go the same one, but at the end of the day, you have to do what's right for you, and if it ends up being that one, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Like, it's all good. This was something I did after every single round, every set, after every house that I visited. I basically took notes. Now, the app that we use, the PNM app, where we would like rank our houses, had a note section. So after every house, I would write down the chapter name. I would write down anything and everything that I liked, disliked, anything I could remember. If you really liked a certain house, like try to remember the girls' names if you can, because then if you see them around, you're like, oh, okay, that's her again, you know, that sort of thing. But yeah, just take notes on every little thing. If you had a conversation you really liked with a girl, like just try to write down quick little notes of what you remember about it. Usually only have 15 minutes in between sets, especially in the beginning, and that's when I feel like the notes are really important, because you're going to so many houses, you're meeting so many girls. It's kind of hard to get all of your thoughts organized. Yeah, just really quickly jot down just as much as you can remember in little sentences. Really helps me, especially when it came time to rank houses, because I couldn't necessarily remember the conversation that I had had at the first house on the first day, but then I could look back at my notes and be like, oh wait, we talked about this, and she's from my hometown, or you know, something like that. My next piece of advice is to make friends in your RC group. It's like so, I don't know, it was so weird and awkward at first, just everything. Like, it was just weird. Like, you are all going through the same exact thing, and you really like, you're all like just, you're going through the same thing, and it can make you like have really strong bonds with people going through that. I feel like one of my absolute best friends I met in my RC group is she and I, like the first set we started talking, we like realized we had so much in common, and we actually ended up both going Cairo. So that was just really amazing and like special to like open up our bids like next to each other. Like, we started that process together, ended it, and still to this day are so close. So I would say definitely talk to girls in your RC group. Literally like half my RC group ended up being in the same sorority as me, which is totally crazy. But it was like, it was great, because also now I went into my sorority even knowing a few more people, because those other girls in my RC group were also in Cairo now. So it'll really make the whole process more enjoyable if you find some friends in that. So yeah, I would say just talk to everyone, but I would say don't talk too much about the houses, and definitely don't talk about your opinions on them. Me and my friend in my RC group, we really didn't like mention too much about the houses and our opinions until later on, when we sort of realized like, oh wait, our favorite houses are the same houses, so you know what, this is actually working out well. Everyone can be a little opinionated, and you don't want to let those opinions affect your decisions. So yeah. Okay, and then also joining your sorority, it might feel weird at first. Like, the first few weeks can be a lot, it can be overwhelming. Like, I remember bid day, just like, I was just like, whoa, okay, so like what now? Like, after all of that, like, I can't believe all of that's over and this is happening now, and it's just, it's a lot. So if you don't go into it feeling like 100% like happy and oh my god, I'm literally so excited, I'm so in love with my sorority, like, you might not have those feelings right away, and that's totally okay. That's normal. It's literally a lot to go through all of that, and if you're not feeling like 100% like into it at first, that's okay. And maybe you won't ever. Like, it doesn't have to be this big thing in your life. It can just be for fun, for something to do, to be involved, you know? And then again, like I said before, trusting the process is the best thing that you can do. And also, if you did end up getting dropped during sorority rush, or you didn't end up with maybe the house that you were wanting, you have every right to like be upset about it. Like, I'm sure it can be really hard to see like everyone opening their bid cards and seeing like them so excited, and maybe like you felt disappointed by what you got, but I do think that whatever you do end up with, or if you don't end up in a sorority at all, know you'll have those other options if you really are interested in Greek life. And if you didn't get the house that was maybe your first choice, like I would say stick in it for a few weeks, get to know the girls, like get to know what it's really about, and see if maybe like you do end up liking it before dropping. But yeah, I think that is all of the information that I have to talk about today. I know that was a lot. Sorority recruitment is complicated, but I really hope that this video helped give you some advice and helped get you excited, because you should be. Even though I might say like it's an emotional week, it still is really fun, and I am so glad that I went through it. And yeah, so be excited. Don't be stressed or nervous. Like I get it, I was. But also, this is also something I should have mentioned, the girls on the other side, I haven't been through it on the other side yet, I will in the fall, but I do think the statement that they're more nervous than you is true, because they're in charge of leading the conversation. If the conversation falters or is bad, like it's on them, it's not on the PNM. Like they're supposed to be questions and, you know, keeping it flowing. So yeah, just know if you're nervous, they're nervous too, so it's okay. Like, if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, you can comment below, reach out to me on any of my social media, and I will help as much as I can. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and check out all of my social media if you want to see what I'm doing when I'm not posting. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.